Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar on boosting bookings and revenue, effective use of channel management and booking engines. I'm John Boatner, Director of Sales for the USA market for Yanolja Cloud Solutions, and I'll be guiding you through this session today. We have an exciting discussion lined up with industry experts who will share valuable insights into how hotels can leverage booking engines and channel managers to optimize revenue. Before we get started, let me introduce our distinguished speakers. Tarun Goyal, founder and CEO of Simplotel, a technology leader helping boutique hotels maximize direct bookings through intelligent website solutions. And of course, Ajaz Sadawala, CEO of Yanolja Cloud Solution, a global leader in hospitality technology, empowering hotels with innovative cloud-based solutions to enhance operations, distributions, and of course, guest experiences. Over the next hour, we'll explore strategies that hotels can use to optimize bookings and revenue, followed by a fireside chat and audience Q&A. So let's dive right in. Today's session is all about helping hoteliers take control of their distribution channels and increase direct bookings. With online travel agencies, OTAs, meta search platforms, and direct booking websites playing a major role in hotel distribution, it's crucial to adopt the right strategies and technologies to maximize revenue. We'll start with two insightful presentations. First, from Tarun from Simplotel. We'll share key insights on how independent and boutique hotels can optimize their booking engines and websites to drive direct bookings. Then Ajaz from Yanolja Cloud Solution will discuss how a dynamic channel manager can streamline distribution and boost hotel revenue. So without further ado, let's welcome Tarun Goyal from Simplotel to kick things off. Over to you, Tarun.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Hello, everyone. As John mentioned, my name is Tarun. I have been fortunate enough to be an e-commerce professional. Today, I run a company called Simplotel. We're working with about 3,000 hotels across 26 countries. And our single mission in life is to help hotels, boutique hotels, drive more direct bookings through their websites. In my past life, I used to work at Amazon and Expedia. So I grew up as e-commerce was unfolding. And I think I've had an exciting journey. Today, I hope to share some of these insights with this panel and look forward to learning from all the participants around and have a meaningful discussion on and understand your perspectives. Yeah. So I just want to start off with a comment, right? There is this ancient Chinese curse that says, may you live in interesting times. And I think a lot of us, people on the webinar attending, people on the panel, have probably lived in the most interesting times in the history of mankind. Just to tell you my story, I graduated from college in 1996, long time ago. Netscape had just gone public a year ago. Amazon was formed in 1994. At that time, they were just a bookstore. Very few people knew about them. eBay was started a year after Amazon in 1995. Facebook did not even come into existence until 2004. YouTube in 2005, Instagram in 2010. So imagine all of these things that we consume every day didn't even exist until about 2 or 3 decades ago. They happened right in front of our eyes. We've gone from a generation that had no internet or did not know about internet to a generation that consumes internet. And if internet went away from our lives, we'd feel completely lost, right? I was just looking through my order history on Amazon and I found some very interesting stats. In the entire year 2000, I placed one order on Amazon. It was a book. In the year 1998, I placed my first order on Amazon. So in the first couple of years of my experience with Amazon, I used to place an order every other year. So about half an order a year was my cadence with Amazon. I looked up my order history in 2024, and we placed 510 orders on Amazon. So we've gone as a household from placing half an order a year to placing over 1.4 orders a day And this shift in our shopping and our buying behavior has happened just in the last 2 or 3 decades. If you look at what Google's hotel travel study indicates, about 81% of the people decide where they want to stay online. So the decision of where they want to stay has also moved from the billboards to online. About 60% of bookings worldwide are now made online. So what is interesting about this stat is although 40% of bookings are still made offline worldwide, about half of them, the decision is still made online. So the point is that today our customers look at they discover our properties on review sites using all kinds of devices on hotel websites, on travel agencies, online travel agencies, on even before they step into your hotel lobby. So the whole decision of where they want to stay has moved from seeing your lobby to discovering your hotel on some online channel. Hotels spend a lot of money crafting, especially boutique hotels, crafting the experience of the lobby, making sure that the experience is great inside the hotel. But guess what? The customer has already made up the mind where they want to stay even before they've stepped into your lobby. There's also some very interesting stats that had come out from Expedia. What they had said was that customers visit about 37 websites before they make a booking. And this was the big change that I realized when I went from Amazon to Expedia. At Amazon, what we found was people would come, they would shop, they would buy, they would leave. When I went to Expedia, what I learned was that the same set of customers come to Expedia, go to maybe a booking.com, go to the hotel website, maybe even come back. It's a lot easier to create channel loyalty in e-commerce. And the reason for that is the whole fulfillment play becomes a proponent for the channel. So for example, if you want to buy something, you quickly graduate towards an Amazon because you know that you'll get the authentic product, you'll get it on time. If you have a problem, returns will be easy. With travel, you get the exact same United Airlines ticket, whether you book on united.com or on expedia.com, right? So customers therefore end up shopping a lot because the whole fulfillment does not create channel loyalty for customers, right? If we knew these facts, the big guys know these facts and they leverage these facts to their advantage. And our mission is to help boutique hotels also take advantage of these facts that are out there. The second fact that we see that I want us to remember is majority of our travel searches also start on Google. So two facts I want you to remember. One, there's massive amount of shopping going on. The same set of customers that come to your site are also going to an Expedia, are also going to a booking. They're also coming back to your site. As much as 37, 38 times, these people are coming and searching. Secondly, all the customers that are coming to our site are starting their searches on Google. So if you knew these trends, which the big guys do, how could you take advantage of that? So let's take a clue from the big guys. So if you look at what an Expedia does or what a booking.com does, here are some very interesting snippets. And some of these things just happen without us even realizing. So the screenshot on the left is a screenshot of a recent search that I did on booking.com. So I searched for New York City. Booking, it starts showing me the dates that I searched, the number of people that I searched. It also shows me the properties that I searched. So the entire user experience on booking.com is personalizing itself. Also, if you look at what Expedia and booking.com do, and this is the screens on the right side, they're constantly trying to get me to log in so that they get some of my information. So this could be either through a genius rate or through a message that says, you always get the best prices. So when the large OTAs have a belief that when a customer comes the first time to the site, chances are they may not buy. And the whole game is about getting the same customer to come back to the site, getting them to provide their information. When they come back, making it so easy for them to book so that I don't have to just keep re-entering my information. Unfortunately, hotel websites still treat repeat customers as strangers. If you think about boutique hotels, we create such an experience for customers. The only reason we exist is because of the experience we provide to our customers. Our front desk remembers us by name. They do everything to make the guest experience really nice. Hotel websites still treat repeat customers as strangers. Here's just some screenshots of what we do. So when we do websites and booking engines for hotels, right, our mission is that they need to be revenue generating. So they need to look great because it's a boutique hotel. It needs to, tell your story online. But it also needs to drive substantial business because the bookings have all moved online, and the cost of distribution gets optimized massively if we can optimize the direct booking channel. So what we do when we do websites for hotels is we're constantly recording everything that the guest is doing. We're constantly nudging them for information. We know a lot of times they will not book in the first visit. We start a whole cadence of remarketing. If you search for New York City on booking.com and don't make a booking, sometimes you may even get a message that says, hey, rooms are going fast on booking.com. Here is, or in New York City, here is another 5% off just to get you to come back, right? All of these things are now available to boutique hotels, and they make the e-commerce journey of customers extremely effective. When I was at Expedia, we ran a bunch of experiments, and one of the things that we realized is when we gave guests the choice to pay upfront or pay at the hotel, the conversion rates increased. And it was very, very counterintuitive. Today at Simplotel, when we look at our data of across 3,000 hotels, every time we give our guests, the hotel gives the guest a choice to pay now, pay at hotel, we find that the conversion rates improve by almost 30%. There are guests who want to pay upfront. There are guests who want to pay later when they check in at the hotel, right? The point is to drive direct bookings through your website is like death by a thousand paper cuts. You got to get a lot of things right. For example, your website just must load faster. I don't think any customer wakes up and says, hey, I wish this site loaded slower. I know boutique hotels shoot really good videos and create really nice experiences. But if your video does not load very fast on your website, it does not matter. It's a great thing, but your consumers are not going to be able to see it, right? So the point is learn that the customers who are coming to your website are also going to be shopping at various different channels. How can we leverage the data that already exists on your website to get them back, to get them to book again? How can we leverage the power of Google to drive more bookings? And how do we take care of every small thing that can help drive conversion? If every small thing that we did improved conversion by 2 or 4%, and if you did 20 such things, suddenly your conversion starts improving by 20, 30% on your website. So all the money that you spend on marketing, trying to get people onto your site, now starts generating real dollars for us. The other thing that we believe strongly is if you look at travel, most searches are still starting on Google. And we have this notion that you must be 100% Google compliant. And I mean two things about it. The first is how do you be Google compliant? And the idea there is be authentic. People are coming to our properties for an authentic, unique experience. Make sure that we offer a similar experience to them on the website. Ultimately, Google's job is to show the best results for a certain search to their customers. If we build our content for our customers, Google will chase us. But if we build our content for Google, I think we are going to get caught and it doesn't really yield results, right? So the first advice that we always have is whenever there's a conflict between the brand and your marketing efforts or your SEO efforts, focus on what your brand really has to offer. The second thing that we like to talk about is if you want to get more traffic to your website through Google for free, which is the search traffic without spending any money, align yourself with Google. And if you think about it, aligning yourself with Google is no different than aligning yourself with your customers. For example, if you just think about the load time of the site, your customers love fast load times, but your Google bot also loves a fast load time. If you imagine what a Google bot has to do, it has to crawl billions of websites every day and catalog the content so that it can show you the results that you're searching for. Don't we think that if your website loads faster, the bot can crawl more of it and would reward you with more traffic? So, our point is we do live in interesting times. The world is changing in front of us every day. But I do see it as an opportunity. We're not cursed, but if we take advantage of these interesting times, there's real money to be made over here. In closing, we're happy to do a quick audit of your site if you want to figure out whether your website is 100% Google compliant or what you can do to get every little piece of conversion through your e-commerce, which is your website and your booking engine. Feel free to reach out to us. We are at hello@simplotel.com or www.simplotel.com. Over to you, Ejaz.
Thank you, Tarun, for the really insightful information on about the driving the direct bookings. Let me share my screen. Great. So again, thank you everyone for joining us on this webinar. And myself, Izaz, as John introduced, I'm working with Yanolja for more than 15 years. I built and fully spent my 15 years on the hotel technology. We are a Yanolja cloud solution empowering 33,000 hotels globally with the tools and the technology that can drive their revenue, optimize their operation, and enhance the efficiency. So how basically the technology that can create an impact on the top line and the bottom line, and eventually also make the guest experience better. Today, I will share my thoughts about Dynamic Channel Manager and how it can help hotels optimize their distribution as well as maximize the revenue. So, as Tarun also shared, the world has moved digital, right? Once upon we thought that who will buy the hotels online? And today we have the statistics worldwide where 60% of the bookings are happening online. And when we go more deep into that geographically, where it look at the Europe or look at the Western world, Americas, right? So that is much even higher, the number of bookings which happens online. So definitely this is the era where the digital presence, online presence is the most meaningful. If we look at the closer look, how the hotels is getting the bookings, right? So traditionally the walk-ins, phone reservations, corporate, travel agents and tour operators still remains. At the same time, the brand website and the OTAs are getting the bigger and bigger pie of the hotel. So when we are talking about small and medium-sized boutique hotels, motels, this is even much larger where OTAs and the direct bookings have a much larger share compared to the travel and tour operators. So in the nutshell, we really need to focus on these all the channels, right, to how maximize the revenue from these sources, as they are the fastest and the most contributing channels for hotels to get the bookings. But still, many hoteliers are struggling today in terms of getting the maximum output and getting the maximum revenue. And why? So still today, there's a lot of systems or lack of systems which requires the hotelier to manually do the inventory and rate updates on every channel. So I have to connect separately from my brand website. I have to do separately OTA by OTA, which means a lot of manual inventory and rate updates, which causes a lot of problems. And it's not really streamlined, smooth, and it's not frictionless. Another problem is the lack of real-time sync, right? So there is the PMS, there is a channel manager, there is a booking engine, there is a OTS, and there are B2C channels, B2B channels, and there are so many where this basically needs to sell. At the same time, the walk-ins, and at the same time, the phone call reservations. So when these systems are work in silos, this creates a problem and headache for hoteliers, and that causes another losing a revenue opportunity for hotelier. Rate disparity is always a common one of the issue, right? Maintaining the rate parity across the various platforms, offering a good pricing at the brand website has remained the challenge for the hoteliers. Why would any OTA would promote when there's a huge disparity among the rates? Credit card validations and frauds is also one of the reasons, right? So for the direct website bookings or the scams, that is another challenge. At the same time, when the bookings come from likes of booking.com, which have a lot of no-shows and cancellations. So hotelier, as a hotelier, I worry because I have a perishable inventory, right? And if I just sit on the bookings, which are going to be canceled or which are the dummy, right? And I do not have a control on the credit card validations, right? So I lose the revenue opportunity. And overbookings and cancellations are always a worry. So many times with my experience working with for 15 years in the hospitality and working directly, indirectly with thousands of hoteliers I speak to, right? And serving these hoteliers, overbookings and cancellations still remains one of the core problems for the hospitality, right? Just imagine a situation where the guest arrives and your front desk has to say there's no room because of some glitches or because of no real-time sync between the various channels. There is a overbooking, and now you have a guest. How do you handle? Right? These are the nightmares for the front desk and the hotelier itself. So fortunately, there are tools, right? And there are the tools which can fix these problems for the hotelier. So today we specifically talk about the dynamic channel manager, a channel manager which connects to different OTAs in real time, connects to your brand websites, booking engine, connects to your PMS, or has the opportunity to connect with more travel agents or tour operators and B2B channels as well, which makes ensure there's a real-time rates and inventory syncs, right? So that's very important solution for a hotelier. So working with these thousands of hotels, we see what this channel manager and a pricing mechanism for the hotel has, what's the impact it can bring. So we can see that it can bring more than 15 to 20% increase in occupancy rates and 10 to 30% reduction in manual errors and overbooking. So that's one of the big problems. So it's not always a top line, but we also have to see the operational issues, and we also have to see the resources and the people cost involved, and the energy and the bandwidth and the time as a hotelier you spend in managing those manual errors, reconciliations, and the overbookings. So when you have these systems, it really reduces 10 to 30% of your manual errors. And definitely, why the channel manager stands out. So Yanolja Cloud Solutions offers connectivity to more than 130 plus global and regional booking sites. So when we talk about, for example, bookings and Expedias and big boys are always there. At the same time, more of the regional, when you have very specific channels, hey, my source market is Mexico as well. So what are the channels from the Mexico? My source market is from India, right? So am I able to connect to the channels from which is famous in the India market? When I source channel is Korea, am I able to connect with the top OTA from those markets? So we offer the wide range of connectivity. And definitely when the booking volume may be covered by top boys, but at the same time, it brings a lot of visibility. And I connect with the point of Tarun that basically guests visits more than 37 different sites. So when you have the similar visibility with the content, the confidence of the buyer is really rich ups, and you have a chance to convert, be it offline or be it online on your brand website or be it on OTA. But without the presence on more and more OTAs, your visibility is not there, and that's not building the confidence in buyer. So one of the most interesting thing and talks about in the town is about AI these days, right? Imagining everywhere we see agent, can agent do something in the hotels, right? So we at Yanolja Cloud Solution, unfortunately, we are not there where we have the agent, but we have some model of AI ML driven pricing. So this model basically, just imagine you are on the beach of Miami, right, as a hotelier, and there is a robot, AI driven, who works and defines your pricing based on the demands, looking into your PMS, the booking patterns, previous historical data, competitor rate shopping, and any events which are happening and various signals. It drives to the various signals and basically defines the pricing and gives you full control to maximize the revenue right time. We offer, as a Yanolja Cloud solution, our channel manager comes with the mobile app. So wherever you go at any given in time on your fingertips, you can see what's happening, your booking notification. You want to close out, you want to stop sell, you want to do the rate change immediately, anytime, anywhere from your mobile itself. That's the flexibility of the cloud as well as the mobile, what we bring in. And definitely, we have our large team in US, based in Beaverton. We have a global team of 400 plus people spread out across the globe. But in US, we have a 16 people team member, mostly based in Oregon, some of them in other states of the US. I would like to share you that Hotel Tech Report, which is the platform which drives basically information on the hotel technology provider, and EasyCentrics, our dynamic channel manager, rates as 4.8 rating with close to 500 reviews from different hoteliers globally, and ranks out 4 out of 110 channel managers in the industry worldwide. So if I talk all, it does not make sense, right? I would be more biased towards our company or our channel manager. But when we look at the industry prominent leaders, when they recognize what it means, so we are recognized as an elite partner by Expedia Group. So just to giving the sense that this recognition comes with a lot of requirements fulfillment from the data security perspective, system performance perspective, real-time updates, how fast we do, and one of the impact which Expedia released in that report, that the hotels using the channel manager, they have seen 6% direct increase in terms of their revenue. So that's very important stats which I would like all our audience to know, right? Booking.com premier connectivity for more than 4 years in a row, right? Which also comes through the quality of the solution which we provide. So all the Airbnb preferred partner, from Agoda strategic partner, from credit card perspective, latest PCI DSS certified, and for the ISO 27001 certified organization. So all the data security as well as the servers are maintained at the high quality recognitions. Here are some of our real world success stories. So when the hotelier speaks on themselves, it speaks a lot, right? So basically the hotelier Maher Patel, right, who is also using our PMS channel manager, and their comments about how it really helps them using the mobile app or managing the day-to-day reservation. At the same time, Maria, based out of NJ, running the Sussex model. And by the way, they run 4 different models in US, and how it has been helping for, they have been our customers since 2020 when they introduced in the first model. And we are really thankful of their trust, and which has helped us to have 3,000 plus customers in United States as of this point. So that's all from my side. Thank you. And I would look forward to the Q&As and further sessions go ahead and hope to add more value to this session. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajaz. Now that we've heard from both of our experts, let's bring them together for a fireside chat. Joining me now, of course, are Tarun and Ajaz. And so let's go ahead and dive deeper in today's discussion, explore how these technologies can work together to benefit hoteliers. So question for Tarun from Simplotel, based on Ajaz's presentation, understanding hotel distribution challenges. Ajaz highlighted several revenue roadblocks for hoteliers, such as rate parity issues, manual rate updates, and overbookings. From Simplotel's perspective, how do you see these challenges impacting boutique hotels differently compared to larger chains?
That's a great question, John, and Ajaz's great presentation. If you zoom out and if you look at the world from a 25, 30,000 foot view, right, the problem looks the same for a boutique hotel or a chain, right? But I think the real difference comes when we start zooming in, right? And I'll just make a couple of points because if you zoom in, you'll find a lot of differences all over the place, right? When I love staying at boutique hotels. And the reason you stay at a boutique hotel is because of the experience over there. And if you're going to build a business that is pivotal on experience, right, or luxury, the bar on you is a lot higher than a hotel that is, a cookie cutter hotel across the street, right? So imagine if you're a boutique hotel and you're going on a holiday with your family, and if there's an overbooking, versus if I'm going to a business trip in New York and there's an overbooking and I get walked to the hotel next door, right? The experience that I have and the impact that it has is very different, right? So that's one point that, although the problem is the same, I mean, I'm sure the front desk of a hotel that's not a boutique hotel or a chain hates to get the booking bounced. And when a guest walks in to have to walk the guest, it's equally painful. But the bar is very different because the business is built on an experience, right? I mean, that's really what we stand for, right? The second aspect is just staffing and systems, right? I mean, boutique hotels, the kind of resources, I know how hard it is to hire. I mean, we hear that all the time from our customers, right? Now, if you're not going to invest in tech and you're not going to have the right people, for example, pricing, if it can be automated by an AI model, like HR said, which is quite interesting, right? Like, why would you want on a holiday to be looking at the mobile app and making price changes? Why not let the system do that, right? Within certain parameters, right? So I think some of these things become even more important, in my opinion, to a boutique hotel than a larger hotel. Though the problems are universal, right? I mean, nobody wants to lose revenue, nobody wants to have a bounced customer, nobody wants to have overbooking, right? But the impact that this has on a boutique hotel and the necessity of these things for a boutique hotel, in my mind, is a lot higher. I don't know, Ejaz, any thoughts on that? That's at least how I think of the world.
Yeah, I think fundamentally, if I look at any business, large chains or boarding, everyone wants to make the money, right? And to make it, definitely they need to drive the guests. So bottom line, in my opinion, is remains the same. The importance remains the same. Yeah.
Great, that's a really good question and answers. Thank you, guys. Direct booking strategies. YCS emphasized the importance of OTAs and meta search platforms in hotel distribution. How can boutique hotels leverage their direct booking channels more effectively to compete with OTAs, which is probably the biggest question?
So I'll probably say something that's probably unpopular or something, but when we look at the data, what we find is sometimes these channels are more collaborative than competitive, right? I mean, if you imagine for a second, if you have a good TripAdvisor rating, does your OTA bookings improve? The answer is yes, because some people will, these people who are going to these 37 websites are looking at your online presence at various places, right? Similarly, if you have a good OTA ranking, does your website business do well? I think it drives a lot of traffic to the website organically without you having to pay Google to get that person to your site, right? So the first point is, and this also goes to, Ejaz's point that, you may think that there's only Expedia and Booking, but what about the Chinese customers who are coming here? What kind of platforms are they using? They're probably using Ctrip or something else, right? So why not be present everywhere? Make sure that stuff is correct everywhere, meaning the same customer is going to go to all these different places, and just having exposure over there can yield a big difference for you. You may think that 80% of your business is coming from Booking and Expedia. Why do I need these other channels? But guess what? In the lean time, when the hotel is off season, weekdays off season in a resort, you can use every incremental booking that you can get, right? And if you can just get that through exposure, why would you want to lose out on that revenue, right? So again, slightly unpopular, maybe contrarian point of view. The second point I'd like to make is, in order to compete with the OTAs, think like an OTA. There is, when you interact with booking.com or an Expedia, you're interacting with a piece of technology, right? I mean, there's not a person sitting behind booking.com who is tracking what you're doing and sending out mailers to you and personalizing the site for you. They just can't do it at that scale, right? Such technology can be available, right? If you knew that the person who's coming to your website for the first time is not likely to book for the first time, what would you do? You would make sure that you have enough hooks to get that person back. You do everything in your power to get their contact information. You do everything in the power so that the system automatically reaches out, because your front desk does not have time to go reach out to all of these people manually. They have 200 other things that they have to do, right? So if we want to drive direct bookings, we need to think at least from a system process tech, like an OTA, and evaluate your direct booking channels and look at them from a tech perspective. We sometimes get very hung up on the look and feel, which is important, right? Because it's ultimately an experience that you want to give to your customers. So how your boutique hotel shows up on the website makes a huge difference, right? But also make sure that you're learning from everything. If during off season you could offer your guests the option of upfront payment or pay at hotel, and it could all be automated for you, and it could drive 30% more bookings for you on those lean dates where you really need bookings, right? Why would you not try those out? So again, 2 points. One is these channels are more collaborative. So although you want to achieve a certain channel mix, they do help each other. We've had instances when we put good videos on hotel websites and their OTA bookings have jumped, right? Just because they were running some special offers on OTAs. Second, think like OTAs. Understand what is happening in the online world and use it to your advantage.
Well stated. Well done. Okay, thank you. I got another one for you here. AI-powered pricing and revenue management. The presentation discussed AI-driven dynamic pricing. How does Simplotel's approach to pricing automation align with this? And where do you see opportunities for synergy between the two platforms?
If you think about, there's a lot of study that comes out all the time on travel. When customers are deciding where they want to stay, the top 2, 3 factors are the hotel's website, the pricing of the hotel, and I forget what the third one. These two sort of jump out, right? Now, I've been a tech professional all my life, but when AI came out, and I don't know, Ajaz, how you feel, right? My jaw dropped, right? For all the other pieces of code that I've seen in my life, it was very easy to write a sort of like an algorithm on, this is how the code is working, right? This piece of technology just feels very different because you can actually think like we think, right? Now, ultimately, it is software. It's not magic out there. But if it can do a great job, like for all of us who use chat GPTs to draft our emails, the first time it looks like magic. Gradually, we get used to it, right? If we can use these tools to leverage pricing, right? I mean, think about it. If you're selling your hotel at $150 or $200 a night, moving your price from 200 to 210 on the days where you can, before your hotel gets sold out, right? Can yield bigger results, right? So I'm a firm believer in automation. it's very hard to scale. It's very hard to train people. It's very hard to hire people. If you can have software do that stuff as good as or better than what some people can, it just has a massive impact on your revenue. So big proponent on it, and Ajaz clearly has some good case studies out there. I'll certainly try it out.
John, if you allow, I would like to just add few things over here on the AI
Yeah, of course.
dynamic, my thoughts. Thanks for that. So I think we should look at the airline industry. Since
Yeah.
when they have been playing with the dynamic pricing. And look at the hospitality. I think we are really, really late on adopting to the dynamic pricing. Unfortunately, the adoption on the technology is too low. If you look at the various industries around the world, right, be it fintech, be it retail tech or health tech and hospitality, so it's really slow. And why we as a hospitality should miss that about maximizing every revenue per available per room, right? Why should we miss that? So, and the thing is, when we talk about boutique and a smaller hotel, it's even a bigger problem because larger hotel chains will have an in-house revenue manager who will do the strategize it, configure it, my seasonal, this is my formula, this is my algorithm, my weekend rules, my long holidays rules, my summer vacations, this blah blah, right? But when it comes to the budget and boutique hotels and models, uh, where is the revenue manager? If as a my single owner operated property, if I have to do those all heavy lifted job, it's really exhausting. And I think the technology adoption is the solution, right? Where if the and I think the AI has just really fast paced it. I don't know without the AI when this could have happened at the mass, but I think we are in the very interesting times, right? It's really in a some kind of curve, and next 5 years would be much more interesting. So I really affirm that for a hotelier, automation and the AI adoption is the must. And whoever adopts and will be the first on the game, I think the first mover advantage would be there for sure.
I think Ajaz, what you're saying is, the interesting times in the last 30 years, the next five is probably going to be as interesting as what,
Oh
so
man.
more compressed
So
interesting. Nice.
I
Looking
think
Yeah,
forward to it, man.
exponential. Yeah.
we are really interesting time. 4 5 years back, we were talking about COVID, right? And we are talking about recovery. And now there is a boom about this AI and so fast every day. So maybe what my team is doing today, tomorrow is anyway outdated. I feel so so
It's
serious
true.
about it. Yeah.
It's hard to keep up, that's for sure. Okay, let's talk about technology and integration and automation. Tarun, if you don't mind, I have a couple questions for you. YCS offers 130 plus integrations to streamline operations for hotels, like Ajaz mentioned. How does Simplotel's technology complement such integrations? And I know we've talked about this, but if you wouldn't mind just kind of highlighting that once again, and what future trends do you foresee in hotel tech automation?
See, I mean, there is, the world is getting flatter, right? There is people traveling all the time. And when we travel, we find these countries are very different. You know, simple things like US is all about we use Apple Messages, right? You go to Thailand, suddenly people are using Line over there, right? And then you go to India, China, you see a lot more WhatsApp over there, right? Essentially, the point is that our customers are different when they come from different regions. And in a global marketplace like that, having exposure to large number of channels just can never hurt you. I mean, don't think about the times when the city is running high, when the occupancy is high. Think about the lean days, right? Where you could use every single piece of booking that comes your way, right? That's an opportunity. On the high side, think about the time. If you had higher exposure, could you raise prices sooner because really have more people vying for that last room that you have out there, right? So no matter how you look at it, high time, low time, right? Having integration seamlessly across works, right? The second part of the question is, how does it work with, Simplotel? See, ultimately, your website direct is also a channel, right? It's perhaps your most preferred channel just because of the economics, right? Just because of the distribution costs on this channel are the lowest, right? So therefore, you have an incentive to sort of drive more business over here, right? But if you think about it, right, if you don't have the right pricing, if you don't have the right integrations, if your website channel was always doing overbookings, right, would your guests ever book on your website? Like imagine a world where the customer experience is more than just the website, more than just the booking agent. It's the fact that when the guest comes, shows up at your front desk, there's a nice room available for them, right? So from that perspective, without these integrations, I don't think things would work. So they're extremely important for us, right? When I look at the future of tech, I think, like Ejaz was mentioning, the next 5 years are going to be tremendously exciting. Like the kind of prototypes that we've been doing with AI are extremely encouraging. Um, I hear a lot of things from our hotels that AI will remove jobs. I don't think any of that will happen. By the way, right? I mean, calculators came, people said accountants will not have jobs. Then Excel came and they said now accountants clearly will not have jobs, right? I don't think anybody lost jobs, right? They probably started doing better, more interesting stuff rather than creating these large spreadsheets. They're now analyzing the data a lot more, right? So I don't know a day when I don't use Chat GPT. I'm just writing emails has gotten so much easier, right? Than editing and sitting it and just like wordsmithing the stuff, right? So it's not that my job has gone away. It's just that I can get a lot more done than sit down and draft stuff, right? So that's at least my view of the world. I don't know, Ijaz, thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think on the AI job things, so definitely it's all about. So when the technology comes, it brings the improvements and enhancement, right, with the automation. So same goes with the AI. So what as a hotelier, my core job is to make the guest experience better. So if I am freed up from those pricing solutions, those managing the real-time inventory rate, I can basically spend the time of the and do the real hospitality job, right? Talk with the guest, share the stories, what is the locals, and really make their experience better, which will drive more loyalty and which will drive more bookings again and again. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. Trin, do you mind one more question?
Absolutely.
Perfect. All right. How about real world application? Based on Simplotel's experience, could you share a case study where a boutique hotel significantly improved direct bookings using Simplotel solutions? So just a
Massive.
prime case study. How does it align with strategies YCS promotes?
So, I mean, we have a whole page dedicated to case studies, right? I mean, if you go to simpletel.com and click on case studies, you'll find a ton of case studies. The sweet spot of our customer base is boutique customers, boutique luxury, the customers that want to provide a great experience to their guests, right? Because that's where online really matters, right? I mean, if you have a good product, marketing can do a lot for you just because it can just accelerate, right? It's like in chemistry, these things called a catalyst, right? They don't really do the chemical reaction, but they speed it up, right? So that's what a great online presence can do for you, right? So case studies, we've seen anywhere from 20, 30, 40% increase in direct bookings to sometimes as much as if the current state of the art was so poor, sometimes even 5 to 6x growth in direct bookings. And we have customers on record coming and talking about it, right? So if your current state of the art is great, we can jump you. But if you're already at 40% direct, there's no way I can take you 6x from there because you don't enough have rooms to sell, right? But if you're really struggling with direct, then the opportunity is more. If you've got a decent system, there's still massive opportunity because often thing that gets missed out is the role of tech in this whole thing, right? The what we see when we go to a website and what your Google crawler sees when it comes to the website are entirely different things, right? Now, how do you take the bandwidth that the crawler is giving you and utilize the most of it? How do you make the Google engineer's life easy? Will certainly reward you in terms of traffic. If you make it super convenient for guests to make bookings, they will book with you. There is research after research that says that customers want to book directly with the hotels, right? Why are booking engines still so hard to use? It's 2025 last time I checked, right? Now, if you look at what Yanolja offers, right? Ultimately, without a solution like Yanolja, we would not even exist. Like, I don't think any boutique hotelier has the time to come and set inventory, set rates, set all of those separately for any of the platforms. Forget the direct website, forget Expedia. There's just so much work to do. Now imagine if you're now trying to get Chinese customers and you want to be on Ctrip and you're trying to get the Middle East, the Far Eastern customers and you want to be on Agoda, right? What are you going to do like? So at some point, you need these pieces of technologies are like pieces of a jigsaw puzzle, right? You put all of them together and a beautiful picture emerges, but you take a few of them out and suddenly the whole picture just, is an empty space there, right? So at least that's my point of view.
Fair enough. I like it. Okay. Thank you, Tarun. Those are my questions for you. Ajaz, do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
Great. Talk about the shift to online bookings. Tarun highlighted that 81% of hotel searches and 60% of bookings now happen online. How does YCS ensure that hotels can optimize their digital presence and drive more bookings through owned channels?
See, I mean, if we go back to what Tarun said, and even if we see his personal experience, like what number of orders he did with Amazon as a household, right? From 1.5 order a whole year, or now is how many 1 point something order per day. That's the shift, and this is the shift in the consumer buying behavior. So our consumer is buying everything online, right? Most of the products now. So when it travel is consumed more even online, at least influenced. What has happened is coming online, right? We look at the Facebook, we will look at the Instagrams, we look at the TikTok. Everything is online, the content which influence. So definitely, first of all, for every hotelier has to have the online presence. That's the must, right? You spend, let's say, thousands of grand on my lobby, correct? But who is going to see the lobby? Only the guest who has already been bought on your product. But if you are not investing money on your brand website, I don't think that 1,000 grand spent on the lobby makes sense, right? So first, you really need to build the product, because that's where the consumer is the going first, right? What is your Google reviews? What is your Google compliant or not, right? So I believe that the online presence and the brand website is very, very important in terms of the building the trust, in terms of definitely there are so many outcomes, right? Be it a distribution mix, when it is when you have the more direct bookings, definitely the distribution cost is less, and then you make more of a direct, you can do more loyalty with the direct customers and so on, and you own the customer, right? Not the OTS. So there are huge benefits of having the brand websites and the booking engine.
Thank you. Hotel website optimization and compliance, as you just talked about. Simplotel stressed the importance of being 100% Google compliant for hotel websites. How does YCS support its customers with enhancing website performance and visibility in search results?
Oh, yes. So I think I am not the SEO guru, by the way, or I'm not the guru. But the basics of basics is very simple. How we can be really authentic, right? How the customer stories in our reviews are really genuine, right? You try to fake around with the paid reviews and all. I don't think this is the time it's going to work out, because the just imagine, when I go for any buying shopping online, I try to see the reviews, for example, right, on the Googles, right, or other platform. I can really make out, right, because there is no common pattern over there when we look at it. So then I can make up. But if it is a common, if you are really authentic, if your product is genuine, you get the common pattern, right? So the content is very, very important, right? Telling a story about your hotel is very important. And definitely the having a Google compliant from the SEO perspective or everything, like just one small example, the website page load. Have you ever did your website audit and try to see where's the page load? I think there are so many studies in how many seconds, if the page is not coming, the buyer is already out of the page. He will just close. The world is moving very fast. So in that sense, just one example, right? How is your loading time for your website? So all these type of parameters brings into the Google compliant, right? And as a YCS also, we also offer the website building and offer, right? And it really, really very important for a hotelier.
Yeah, I mean, just another way to think about it, right? See, let's say if you want to stake the claim that you're the best hotel in New York City, right?
Mm.
What should your content say? Your content should talk about why you're the best hotel in New York City, not just stuff keywords on a page that says, I'm the best hotel in New York City, right? Tell me that you give me free airport transfers from New York airport. Tell me that you write in Times Square so I can walk to the restaurants or Broadway, right? Or tell me all the details of why are you the best hotel in New York, and you see the magic start happening rather than the old school way of doing SEO where you just take a bunch of keywords and shove it down the set of pages. I mean, those things just don't work, right? So by authenticity, it also means like do a bit of soul searching, figure out the set of keywords or searches that you really want to rank in where you have a chance on ranking, and tell the world exactly why you believe you have a right to rank on those versus going after anything, right? I mean, if you're selling at $600 a night and you're worrying about ranking on, budget hotels in New York, you're going after the wrong set of customers. You get caught very easily doing that, and it's a complete waste of time. So that's
And
also
Fair enough.
something about being authentic, right? Just
yeah,
know your USPs, articulate that well, and target that, and you'll see the results come.
yeah. Just one thing, John, and for the audience, I just want to add one thing. There is a one opposite reaction also when it happens. So, for an example, uh, the guest discovers your property on Booking or Expedia, right? And when they go on the brand website, and if it is not really stands up to the content, right? Even they do not convert on the OTs, they lose the trust, right?
Correct.
It is that. So, but if you have that strong brand website, right? Even if it doesn't come on the because of blah blah reason of a genius program or better rates or packaging or some reasons, right? But still, it will still bring you the booking at the OTAs or the direct bookings. But if your website doesn't stand to that, then maybe you are losing the booking completely on any of the channel.
Correct. And if you think about it, like, see, it's a two-tiered problem, right? First, you need to fill up your hotel rooms, right? Then and only then. So, you want to win against the hotel next door. Is your number one goal. Optimizing your channel comes after that, right? I mean, can I now optimize my distribution costs, right? But if it comes at a cost of losing the customer, you'd rather get that customer come from some other channel, although you're paying more for that, right? So totally agree with Ajaz over there, right? Like it is about winning that customer and getting that customer to come stay with you, right? At your terms.
Right, right. Okay. Thank you. That was really insightful. Both you guys did great with these questions. Excellent answers. I really appreciate it. We are running a bit long on the fireside, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the Q&A portion of our webinar. So at this point, let's open the floor for audience questions. If you have any questions for our speakers, please drop them in the chat box, and we'll address as many as we can in the next 10 minutes. Right, let's see. We have a question from Michael Clark. He asks, when travelers visiting over 37 websites before making a booking, what are the most effective strategies for boutique hotels to capture and retain their interest? Tarun, do you want to answer that one?
Yeah, I'll take that one. So
okay.
See, ultimately, you have to think about your website as a store, right? So the first step is to get traffic to the site. So here, because the question is related to 37 websites, I'm assuming that the customer has discovered you on one of the other channels and they've come here, right? The second is engagement, which really is getting this person to fall in love with your product, right? And this is about ensuring that your authentic story of your product comes out on your website, right? It can be through a video, it could be through copy, it could be through design, but the person has to fall in love with your product, right? Third is conversion, which is trying to get this person to actually convert on your this channel versus converting on some other channel just because your distribution costs are low, right? So imagine if you knew that this customer who's coming to your website, the stats say that in e-commerce, if they get 100 orders in a day, about 25 to 30 orders come from the customer's first visit. So people just come, buy, and go. Stats for travel say that if a travel website gets 100 orders in a day, only 12 of those orders come in the first visit of the customer. So 90 or 88 of the orders that you get come from your second, third, fourth visit of the customer coming back to your site. Imagine that you know this fact, right? What would you want to do if you knew that your salesperson? Imagine if you're in a business where your sales is a long lead time sales, right? You'd make sure that your salesperson is nurturing the customer a lot and reminding them that you exist and reminding them again that you exist, trying to get them back to convert with you, right? Your website needs to behave exactly the same way, right? Have this belief that the person who's coming to your site the first time may or may not buy it the first time. But if you keep nurturing that, and I don't mean nurturing them by having your salesperson call because it's a set of consumers who has the time to do it, right? But look at what the OTAs do. Every time you go search on an Expedia or a Booking.com, it remembers everything that you do. It keeps personalizing the site for you. It sends you offers. Try going to Expedia, search for New York City, don't make a booking. You start getting mailers from them after some time. They nudge you like how to log in so that they can get your information so that they have these hooks to get you back, right? These techniques are extremely effective in driving conversion to your website. And we're strong believers of this. Just because we know that this person who's coming to your site today is not going to book. So first time, get him interested. Make sure that the story is coming out, your authentic story. Second, record everything that's happening. Exploit the data that you have. The customers are leaving their fingerprints everywhere. We are just not capitalizing on that gold mine of data that's out there for us. If we start capitalizing on that, you will see your business impact improve.
Well said. And Jazz, did you want to add to that?
Maybe I think he covered up a lot. So
Okay.
maybe I can take, if you are okay, I can take the next
Yeah.
question.
Michael also asked about boutique hotels and how they can ensure 100% compliance. That's obviously been a fair point in this conversation. And what are the biggest mistakes hotels can make when it comes to online visibility?
Yeah, sure. So I think there are a lot to do in that being 100% compliant, but few things what comes on top of my head right now is about basics like Google business profile. So till today, a lot of hotels do not basically accurately update and ensure its latest information about their name, address, phone number across the various platforms, ensuring there is a high quality images for rooms, common areas, amenities, responding to the guest reviews. I think is also very important, be it positive or negative reviews, right? The hoteliers really uh, need to address those reviews, uh, adding the relevant categories and attributes, like for example, is a boutique hotel or is a pet friendly hotel or is a luxury hotel. So that's very important. Uh, and there are structured data guidelines from Google about implementing the schema markup for SEO perspective or having the hotel price, availability, amenities. Uh, Using the Google hotel ads is very important. Book on Google program is important, I believe. And then the best practices for the hotel to have the SEOs would be there. So in short, there are small things, right? Everything adds up and makes it more better compliance. Uh, but I think one of the important thing which I would personally strongly recommend, avoid having the fake and manipulative reviews, right? I think the Google content policy is looking very sad, and I would not want my hotel to get caught right on those practices and getting their de-ranking and everything. So remaining fully compliant is definitely there, and this is the way. Other part, what I think there was second part of the question is biggest mistakes when it comes to the online visibility, right? So I think it's the same, like outdated information putting, right? It's hurts ranking, not responding to the reviews, or uh, let's say over reliance on the OTAs. That's I believe is also there, because if you are not putting your direct website, your then there's no Google's also is a problem. So these are some of the poor website. And even though I think we missed one thing is about the mobile experience, right?
Yeah.
One important stage I believe we missed is about the bookings on mobile is fastest growing thing on the as far as the devices are concerned. So when someone looks at your website from the mobile, is it the compliant? So that's very important. Which are the one of the other mistake which hoteliers do? They always look at the desktop, but I think the buyer is not always on the desktop.
So,
True. Yeah.
can I just add? I think this question is from Alex,
Yeah,
right?
please. Yeah.
So SEO is a four-letter word, right? I think we just tend to complicate it too much. But if we just have to simplify it, right, I would break it up into three aspects. First, the tech, and I can tell you why tech is important. Second, the content, which I mean is authentic content. Third is your reputation. Get these three things right, your SEO is right? Very quickly, tech is important because the freaking Google bot has to come and crawl 500 million websites, right? Now imagine if you were a librarian, if you had to read 500 million books every day and catalog their contents, right? Would you like a book that told you all the pages or the table of contents? Or would you like a scattered piece of pages where you have to go figure out where each of the chapters are, right? Simply put, that's a sitemap, right? Which is what Google expects us to give, right? Just give me what the pages are on your website so that I don't have to discover them in other ways. So that the 5 minutes that I'm going to give you, I use that job crawling better. Load time. I'm going to give you 5 minutes based on your stature. So if your site loads fast, I can get more of your pages crawled, right? So there's a whole checklist of this. Happy to take it offline, but it is commonsensical out there, right? Second is content, authentic content. Know who you are, know who your customers are, know what you like about them, and talk about it on your website. Figure out those as your SEO strategy. Those are the keywords that you go after. Your ranking problem becomes a lot easier than trying to fake it, right? If I'm not the best budget hotel in New York City, why bother to rank over there? Even if you luckily rank there, you're not going to get conversions there, right? The third piece of SEO is what the world talks about you. Like Ajaz said, right? Your reviews, right? It's okay for me to say I'm the best hotel in New York. But if my customers are saying I'm the best hotel in New York, it carries a lot more weight than what I'm saying, right? So, which is your reputation, which is everything that's happening outside your website. Make sure they're also talking about your USPs. If you're saying you're the best pet-friendly hotel on the planet, the content on your website should say why you're the best pet-friendly, and hopefully, the customers who are talking about the fact that you're the best pet-friendly hotel in the world, right? When all of these things come together, magic starts happening over there, right? So don't get too confused by SEO. People like us try to confuse you about it, but it's actually very commonsensical. Like just think about it from what does the bot need? What does your customers need? What are people outside saying? Bring it together, you'll have a powerful SEO.
Excellent. Thank you. I think you just answered Alex's next question as well. Michael, those were great questions, by the way. Thank you for bringing them up. And Alex, that question of yours, what role does SEO play in increasing direct hotel bookings? And what are some quick wins that hotels can open right away is just what Tarun was saying and Jazz as well. Let's move on to Alex. He has another question. With the rise of AI and automation and travel e-commerce, how can hotels leverage these technologies to drive more conversions on their website? So how can you use AI to drive more bookings from your website?
Yeah, I can take that. There are some obvious ones which I don't agree on, right? A lot of content can get written by AI, but from your perspective, I don't believe that's the right thing to do. Get your content written properly by human beings, right? The way you can leverage, and I'll give you this example. It's actually surreal. I was sitting down with one of our customers, and I asked him the question that, can you tell me why do customers come stay at your property, right? And he gave me like 5 or 6 different answers, right? Like they come stay here because we have great food, because we have this, right? What we did is we opened up his booking.com reviews afterwards, right? 6 out of 7 reviews on booking.com, customers were saying they love the fact that the hotel is offering free parking, right? Now, the hotel owner does not, when I asked him, what are your top things, did not talk about the fact that free parking was one of his top USPs. This is why people are coming, staying with him, right? Imagine if you can point your AI to the reviews, which is what, by the way, booking.com does. If you go to this hotel's booking.com page, booking.com highlights the fact that you get
Mm-hmm.
free parking over here. They're not going and manually reading the reviews. They're actually digesting it and they're trying to figure out what they're offering, right? That's a great use of AI, right? So use it to compile all this data that's out there, the 500 million websites that are out there. It's already indexed them, read them. It can summarize it very easily for them, for you, right? So there are these very nifty, we're innovating on some of these, right? Could we crawl the reviews and tell you the 7 things that you should highlight on your website rather than have some content writer, use ChatGPT and create content and shove it on your website, right? So the way I think about AI is think about somebody who's read the entire Encyclopedia Britannica, who's read every single website out there available to you to answer questions, right? Ask the right questions to that person. Why do people stay at my hotel? Can you look at all my reviews in these sites and tell me the top 3 things that people love about me and hate about me, right? Can form, see, ultimately, marketing's role is to highlight what you stand for. Use it to figure those things out. And it makes it much easier than reading like 500 different reviews from booking.com, for example, right? So think about using these tools to sift through data, which is abundant, right? Where you really don't have the time to go through it. Quickly summarize it and tell you and use that to craft your strategy, at least for now, right? The other things is, Ajaz clearly has built something around pricing, try that out, see that works. So we are also prototyping a lot of these things, right? This is fast evolving, new tools will come out, but you don't have to wait for those. You can start using a lot of these things yourself today.
Well said. Thank you. And thank you for that question, Alex. So our next question comes from Henry Lucas. He has a couple questions for us. How does Yanolja Cloud's channel manager dynamically adjust rates compared to competitors? So basically, what makes ours better than the others? What factors influence the pricing updates?
So competitors here is referred to, I think, the various channels, I assume. The hotels, they're hotel competitors, right? I'm not very sure, but if I elaborate, which also covers in the second part, what factors influence the pricing updates. So basically, there are various signals when we talk about the AI, or we offer like dynamic pricing. Up until now is the manual strategizing, creating your own algorithm. So looking after the hotel occupancy, looking after the hotel booking patterns previously, right? For example, last December, right? How was my occupancy trend? How was my booking trend? What was my lead time of the bookings coming in? What is the impact about any events in the city? We have the Coldplay concert, then suddenly there is a boom in terms of the search, right? there is any event announcement, just with the event announcement, and within an hour there would be search starts happening. And when the AI gets those search signals, they don't know that what is the reason, but of course they get that there is a lot of search started immediately, and then they spike the rates, for an example. So in terms of, there are so many signals, thousands and thousands of signals we look at. I can give you examples which I mentioned, like booking patterns of the historical data from the PMS, the brand searches, the city search, the events data, the occupancy levels, the lead time, and everything. And based on those, it keeps basically manages the dynamic pricing. And John, if you allow, when I read Phelps' question, Philip, it's also about the same. So I will want to cover up here that
Sure.
how the hotelier can rely fully on AI. So in our case, this is a big thing, and it's a really good question. Thanks for that, Philip. First of all, because it's directly on my revenue. The wrong rates will put me off somewhere, right? And it's a very risky, right? And that's where it's very important. So, for an example, we have some control on the AI. We give the range for AI to play. This is my threshold for the minimum. No matter what, please don't go below this. And this is the maximum price. So I give the AI the direction. You have to play around this, because I will not want the guest of very cheap price and make my product look like selling at any damn prices, right? So that should not happen. And at the same time, if if I start selling so high, right, and no control, the product may value, if it is not giving, you may start getting the bad reviews that, hey, this was the product, but the value was not there, and then it will start slowly impacting negatively. So we have that control, so it's not fully rely. And at this, on top of that, we give the option for hotelier on certain days or certain periods, if you want to take the full control, human intelligence. So if you find our robot is going haywire, you can still have a control. So there's a lot of automation and the trust building process for a hotelier when they start using our AI based smart pricing. John, I think you are on mute.
You're right. Thanks, Sujan. And yes, thanks for that question, Philippe. Henry, you had another question, and you just put one in there again. Another one. That's great. So your other question: I have an independent hotel with over 60% of hotel bookings happening online. How can I compete with larger chains in securing more online bookings?
Sure. Can I take that one?
Yes, $1 million question.
Sure. So, Alex, first of all, thank you for validating. Looks like you're spot on with the Google data of 60% bookings being online, right? So, I've always wondered whether the data is, so this is a good proof point, right? So, unfortunately, there's no easy answer to your question, but it's not very hard to figure out the answer to your question. I know it sounds contradictory, right? But the way I would start with this is figure out, why should a customer stay at your independent hotel versus the chain hotel? Right? So we obviously know the chain hotels have their advantages, that they're probably giving loyalty points, this, that, right? What is it that you offer to a customer that they like? What is your unique selling proposition, right? One of the ways to do that is take 25 reviews, maybe 10 each from booking.com, Expedia, maybe TripAdvisor, maybe Google, right? So start cataloging it. Use ChatGPT for it or do it manually. Start seeing what customers are saying about your property. Very quickly, like I just said, right? You'll be able to start figuring out what people are liking about your property, what they're not liking about it. Marry that with the set of customers that you want to attract. That forms the foundation of your learning, essentially your marketing plan, right? Like, this is the set of customers that I want to attract, and this is why they come stay with us. This is why they like about us, right? If there are things that need to improve in your hotel, focus on those. But focus your marketing dollars, your SEO, your content, your everything around the USPs of who's coming to your hotel or who do you want to see come to your hotel, and start tailoring everything towards them. I mean, it's just like marketing 101, but it's not that hard, but it's not obvious. But if you spend a little bit of time, we're happy to work with you on this if you want, right? We can decipher this stuff. But once you know, like imagine if you knew that customers are coming to your and staying with you because you're offering free parking and your competition does not, right? You could start your website with, middle of the city, don't worry about parking, we've got you covered, right? Or something like that, right? So, but the first step, if you skip out, the rest of it just becomes like competing needlessly without actually knowing what you're going after, right? So once you figure out this first step, the following steps become a lot easier to figure out. So that's what I mean by, it is easy but not easy, or whatever, right? I said. But yeah, happy to work with you on this. But that's what I would advise. First, figure out what is it that you offer that the chains don't offer. Why should your customer come stay with you versus your competition? And then start crafting the plan. A lot of it will come out of what you learned from the first step. That's how I would do it, at least.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Henry, you also asked, is the channel manager booking system integrates with the PMS? I'll answer that, which is yes, they both do. We connect with our own PMSs. We have the absolute PMS. We also have the check-in on-premise PMS, and there's another on-premise, such as what was the name of the why it's on-premise?
Easy front desk, yeah.
Easy front desk. Thank you. So kind of got your choices there, but those are the only ones that we're connecting with currently. Is that right, Jazz?
Yes.
Channel manager booking engine.
Correct. So let me just clarify. So as far as PMS is concerned, so we come up with the total solution, the PMS and the channel manager, right, for a hotel here. And when it comes to the booking engine, while we provide at the same time, we have partnered with the Simplotel and other similar companies where there is a more specialization on the booking engine features, and that is all integrated fully with our channel manager and the PMS.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, last question we have here is from Thomas. He's asking, how secure is the system to protect guest information and payment details? Good question for now.
Yeah, I think I can take it, right? So thanks, Thomas, for this question. The guest information and the payment processing is definitely very important aspect in the whole process. And definitely, for example, our company, we are an ISO certified organization, right? When we use the AWS Amazon Web Services, we are AWS FTR certified solution company. When it comes to the PCI DSS payment processing compliance on the highest benchmark available in industry, we are that certified. So, and then when it comes to the Booking.com or Expedia Elite Partnership, Booking.com Premier Rating, so the GDPR, the SOC 2, all those compliance we undergo through, right, as a security and aspect, and that remains very, very important. So by the way, just to share you, we launched our cloud-based solutions in 2011, right? So, and it's almost now, you can see, more than a decade, and we are able to work more and more strongly on the security parameters. From that was a great journey about how to protect the guest information and payment details. And there are all the benchmark available, which we follow the process for.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. And those are the questions. And that is going to wrap up our time. Thank you so much, Jazz and Tarun. Really, really, really appreciate your answers, and all the very insightful answers, I must say. I can't see how anyone won't want to check out our products now. So, unless there's any other questions, I guess we'll go ahead and call it a day. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. And really nice to have all the audience and wonderful questions. Yeah, I wish you a great day ahead. Thank you, Tarun, John, and team members.
Likewise, Jazz. Thank you so much, and audience.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Love the questions.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.